All right. Blackout in the middle of a blackout.
Man, for real.
And
Had to call the governor from Walking Dead. My God.
facts, man. Houston, Texas, y'all still without power?
Unfortunately. And for what I pay, mayors, I'm finna be a Karen. Come Monday, boy. Can't have this. Gotta go buy a generator. Like, come on, man. It's too much.
How is it out there, man? The purge is happening or no?
I'm armed up, so I'm good there. Got my little flashlight supplies and all that, but I'm like 4 days without power. No bueno. I got all them jokes about New York and them rats. At least y'all power be on when the flood comes. My God. Houston, y'all got to do better, yo. Come on.
Facts.
Come on.
Give Houston his power back. Please give Houston his power back, ladies and gentlemen.
Please.
But nonetheless, the good brother Ian was able to make it to Blackout with us. So thank you for weathering the storm.
Have to.
Literally. Okay. So Blackout. Okay, so we're gonna get into some topics, but before we start, definitely want to give a big shout out to Lauren London. We announced a partnership with her today for InvestFest. She's going to lead a women's initiative where they're going to do a health and wellness panel, but then we're going to be giving a business grant in Lauren's name to a woman-led business at InvestFest. And that was something that she was very passionate about. You know, when we asked her if she wanted to be a part of InvestFest, she said, yeah, but she said that she wanted to not just speak and not just be a guest. She wanted to actually do something that she thought would be extremely impactful. And, you know, we agreed. So she actually put together her own panel of women.
Okay.
And, super dope. I will announce that probably maybe on Market Mondays, but super dope, impactful women. And then we're going to announce also shortly how we will, you know, have a contest or have some kind of, you know, application perhaps for women only businesses to get a grant, because, you know, we love our women. So that's important. So get your tickets to InvestFest, man. It's just so much stuff that's happening every single week. It's just, it just doesn't stop, man. So that's just the latest announcement, but there's been so many announcements, and especially women. This is something that we're really leaning into. So thank you to Lauren London, to her entire team. And the marathon continues for sure. Marathon continues. So get your tickets to InvestFest, ladies and gentlemen. We're 6 weeks away. All right.
Really? Oh my God, time is going by so fast, man.
Oh, and we got a surprise. I'm not going to say it yet, but Blackout, just understand it's going to be the biggest. It's going to be the biggest, man. That Blackout.
Tua got a multi-million-dollar podcast deal with no podcast. This one gonna spice it up. Oh my God.
Live Blackout at InvestFest. Wait till you see what we have in store. Biggest in the game. Just know that.
Y'all did y'all thing on this one. I can't lie. Y'all, this is a perfect Patty Mahomes spiral. Thought I text him like for real. Change up? Omaha. I said, okay, ready. I hit Mike B immediately. Get all my looks together, my brother. Multi-day change. Come on.
Multi-day. Yeah. Well, you said you wanted something. You said you wanted to have, you know, multiple moments throughout the course. So
and you, you threw me a perfect little lob. Thank you. Making me look like a genius out here. Why y'all doing Blackout instead of getting away from investing? Because y'all not listening to the investing how you should.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. But before we talk about that, anything that you would like to say to the people?
Yeah, get the tickets to InvestFest. Cannot wait to present multiple days, but I'm going to be doing a presentation on live trading. If I've made you money, please put yes in chat. If you want to get rich in the market, go to ianinvest.com. I got to take some of the stock money and buy some generators since Houston want to be cheap. But yeah, if you want to get rich, go to ianinvest.com. If I've made you money, please put yes in chat. Let's have an amazing show, and I cannot wait to see y'all in Atlanta for InvestFest. And I can't wait to tell y'all who this guest is, but I'm not going.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yes.
So all right, so let's start off with that. Because if anybody doesn't know, like, Blackout is a show that is not designed to be the same as Market Mondays or Earn Your Leisure.
Yep.
It's an opinion-based show where we do talk about financial topics and business topics. We also talk about relationships. We talk about geopolitical topics. We talk about pretty much everything. So some people have voiced some level of disappointment, I understand. And
Oh,
So
you're in a good mood today. Okay, I'm gonna be in a good mood.
how do you
Zen vibe.
respond? What is your response to any level of criticism or disappointment that perhaps some of the audience might have when it comes to Blackout?
You shouldn't be disappointed. 2 years ago, people were getting on me about having a 4K set up and bokeh and lighting and all. I'm like, I'm giving y'all the best stocks to invest in that hedge funds won't give you. Tepper's quiet, Ackman is quiet, Simons is quiet. You can't even invest into the medallion fund. But I noticed some of these other topics are being talked about, and it's still a financial conversation, whether you want to talk about the babies or if you should have one person, how much to spend on a date, etc. These are the things that you have to learn after you get rich. And the truth is, if you guys are putting your attention there, then why shouldn't we put our toe in the proverbial water and give you the entertainment as well? Let's not act like everybody's watching Bloomberg and watching Market Mondays and taking notes feverishly how they were doing in 2021. So it's your fault that I come on here now and talk about the babies. Tune in to Market Mondays. Let's get back to 15,000, 12,000 people watching live, and there won't be a need. But also, I'm noticing people vote with their attention and their dollars. You can act during the day as if the only thing you care about is market capitulation and interest rates, but we know that's not true. We know that, and I'll see it when we go outside. You may be partying, but y'all in the section with a bunch of baddies, or baddies pushing away a bunch of little dusties away, right? So, if not us, who?
Not also, and I think also it's important for you as a business owner that's watching this, or you as a person that's growing your brand, to never let somebody box you in, and never live up to expectations that the audience have of you, because then you're essentially living in a prison. Even for us, EYO, that was always the mission, to expand to different verticals, sports, earn your love. I've been talking about earn your love for 2 years. Right. So it was like the relationship stuff shouldn't really be as too much of a surprise. That was always the direction that we wanted to go into, is having a different offering outside of just financial topics. So, I feel like we have that pretty much covered. Right. But let's be honest, 24 hours a day is not related to finance, even for us. So, we like fashion, we like sports, the relationship conversations, the political conversations. So all of that is actually what makes up our DNA, right? And it's just like an artist. Like if you listen to Tupac, you got a full array of life. Even Nas is similar. Like you got the political stuff, you got the stuff for the single moms, but you also got the stuff for the parties. You got the stuff for the X-Raiders, Uchi Wally. Some people say like, yo, you're a hypocrite. How you make one mic and then make Uchi Wally?
That was hate by Jay. Let's be real. That was hate.
No person is living on that spectrum 24 hours a day. I might feel like going to a Million Man March one day. I might feel like being in Booby Trap the next day. Like, I'm saying? Like that's
same night.
Same night. That's what makes up a person and a human being. And I feel like a lot of times people try to play too holy. And usually the people that play too holy are the people that's really doing dirt behind the scenes, right? Like the Darius Jackson guy, remember him?
Yep.
He was the one that was piling on men and saying how bad men was, and doing all this stuff, simultaneously cheating on his wife, crazy stories, all kinds of stuff. And it's like, yo, if you want to be a preacher or a priest, salute, okay? But we never signed up for that. So you can't box us and pin us in a certain situation. And like Ian says, we actually add real information onto it. We're not just telling you stories or giving you our opinions just for stupid shock value. We're actually telling you real stuff that can actually potentially save you hundreds of thousands of dollars or make you millions of dollars, right? So even in the jokes or in our opinions, it's real. This is actually real reality. So you need to actually pay attention to it, because this is actually one of the most educational offerings that we have in the portfolio.
Absolutely. And let's be honest, we may not get the credit for it, but we was talking about the Boeing situation before it became mainstream. When people were saying, it's like, I don't know if y'all should touch that. The brand is too big. And it's like, but you still have to be honest. And then I think also if you're building out a media, and I've been studying the media landscape the way that I would invest in, When HBO was built, they didn't have all the same shows. The Golf Channel doesn't work because there's only one Tiger. When HBO was built, Sex and the City, Sopranos, and a whole wide array of offerings, amazing movies. Like if you look at when the network is built, like the UPN, they'll use us, and Black people, and then they'll go diversify the content. You can't have the same show 24 hours a day and expect that network to grow. And also, even in the entertainment, part of my job is to also upset you to make you think. Because if you are always in agreement with, going back to Floyd, for 7 to 8 years, people were paying to see if Floyd was lose. And I felt it last year. It got to a point where I was like, I want to see if Ian has another misstep like Square. Just that one. What can you do? What can you do?
What can you do? But okay. Now that we got that out the way.
Mm-hmm. And y'all really mad because I'm doing this too, and I done got cued to the public too. We gonna leave that out there. Man, you should have just stuck in your lane. But I bet DMs on fire. Shout out to the babies. These are just jokes. Written by 85 South, even though DC couldn't be here today.
Yes. And oh yeah, so DC Young Fly cannot make it. That's the family, but had to do some things with his family. So but he will be on the show soon. He sends his regards, but he got caught up, so he's not gonna be able to make it tonight. But having said that, let's get into this conversation. Is Tyla Black. Now we'll show the picture. Mike, if you can show the picture, if you can, appreciate it. So here's the thing. This isn't just about her, but it speaks to a broader conversation of racial identity, right? And this is something that a lot of people have questions about or struggle with, and especially in the United States of America. And I believe her background is, I believe she's Indian on one side. And what's the other side?
They say Zulu.
Zulu. So she's African on one side, she's Indian on the other side. But the interesting thing about South Africa is that, so in America, we have like 3 race cards that people call, right? Yeah. They say black for anybody that's black. They say white for anybody that's white. And then they say Latin, Latinx, Spanish. That's the tricky one because that goes off of language, not necessarily color. So for instance, if I was from Colombia or Dominican, I could say I'm Latinx. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm black. You could say you black, but a lot of people wouldn't. They would say like I'm Spanish, I'm Latinx, I'm Latino. It's a little that's a little complicated. But other than that, when it comes to the black and white, it's pretty easy in America. You either black or you white. As far as like how people classify themselves, right? But people that are considered black isn't always embraced by Black community or looked at sometimes as an outsider if they're not what we call like fully black. So if you're half white, right? This is the Drake thing, where Drake's father's black, his mother's white. And that led to a whole thing of them calling him a white boy, saying that he's not black, saying they can't say nigga, whatever, right? But in South Africa, they have 3 different categories. It's a little different. They have black, which is dark-skinned black people. They have white, which are white people, but then they have colored. So colored is people that are like brown skin, light, what you would consider light skin. So I guess if I was in South Africa, I wouldn't be called black. I would be called colored, right? So Tyler is considered colored in South Africa. So Charlemagne asked her the question and about racial identity. She kind of like danced around it, and that led to some debate about whether she was black or not. But I just think that is interesting because I know a lot of people that are mixed, right? And for me personally, I never looked at mixed people as not being black. I looked at it like if you look anything other than white and you lean towards brown, you black to me. That's how I look at it. But everybody doesn't look at it like that, right? So, okay. Interesting conversation. Ian, what's your take on this? And then we'll have a broad range conversation.
The ironic part is Joe brought this up to me maybe 6-7 months ago, and I thought he was tripping. Then I had a conversation with somebody who works in the industry, and they were like, well, if this got out, maybe that's why she skated the conversation with Charlamagne. And for those of you who don't know, when the PR person comes from behind the camera and says something, they really don't want the information to be out. So while we're having the Kendrick Drake debate, does the colonizer part only apply to him because they want to get him out the way, or are we going to have the conversation about everyone who could be a colonizer? And if she's going to be the biggest star in Afrobeats, is that okay if she's 3/4 Indian?
Yeah, it's one of the.
What's up, guys?
What's the deal? What's the deal?
That's my cue to chill. But I just want to propose the question: if that's going to be one of the brightest stars in the space, is there obligation for her to be more African? If that's the case, I'm fully Latino. Then, if that's the case,
it's interesting. That's interesting.
Still think she's an amazing star, amazing debut single, dance. I think she is pro the culture, but why hide the heritage? Because if this was Drake and if Drake was Indian, oh my God, all the Crips in California.
Did she hide it? Or like for me, instance, right? Like I don't necessarily have to tell you my whole family background. Like my mother's black, my father's black, but I don't have to go around and say where in America they're from, like the history. I am who I am. I don't feel a need to lead with, okay, my mom's family is from Virginia. My dad's family's from, Atlantic City. Then they worked their way up to New York and they moved to, like, if you ask me a question, I'll give you the history on it. But yeah, I don't necessarily feel a need to share with you my whole entire DNA pattern. You look at me, you can tell I'm black. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like everybody's mixed on a certain level. Like I said, my mother's black, my father's black, but my grandmother had hazel eyes. At some point in time, there's some white in it, right? And I feel like anybody, if you're not the color of Akon or the brothers and sisters in South Sudan, like you go to South Sudan, like they as black as your shirt. Senegal, South Sudan, if you're not that color, you've been mixed with something. You've been mixed with some level of European, some level of Arab, something along the line, especially in America. We all know the history when it comes to slave masters raping their slaves and having, kids. That's well documented. So I feel like I get it. I do get it, but I just feel like that's kind of like a divisive conversation that I don't really agree with. I don't see it like that. I feel like we are different. You can't relate to the same things. If you're not like a black American, you're not going to be able to relate to what a black American has gone through. So some things you shouldn't speak on. Just like for me, I couldn't relate to what an African has gone through because I'm not from Africa. Yeah. So, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we just completely divide ourselves into like, yo, you're not black because one of your parents is white, or you're not black because you speak Spanish instead of speaking English because the colonizer. Like, look at Haiti. Look at like that island. The same island is a DR in Haiti. One colonizer came from a Spanish-speaking country. The other colonizer came from a French-speaking country. That's the only difference. But why is Haitian people considered black and Dominican people not considered black? Because they speak Spanish? That doesn't make you like the second largest group of black people in the world. You know where they live?
Where? Brazil. Good point. True.
That's the second largest concentration of black people outside of the continent of Africa. They speak Portuguese. That's because most of the slave ships went from Africa to Brazil. And the Portuguese ran the slave trade before anybody was involved. The Portuguese, they was the pioneers of the slave trade. So they took Africans from Africa to Brazil and taught them how to speak Portuguese, and they speak Portuguese. That you're still black. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just speak a different language. So I just feel like we get caught up in race too much as far as like who's black, who's not black. Like I said, if you look black, you black to me. I'm calling you black and there's no way out of it. So that's just my side of it. But I do understand that the colorism is real.
Yep.
And that's a real thing. And you definitely, I can, even for me, I don't know how it is to be a dark skinned person. So I don't want to speak on, like, there's different challenges that a dark skinned person might have that I wouldn't have. There's challenges that I have that somebody that's white is not gonna have. You can't relate to different levels. And colorism is definitely real, especially when it comes to women, but men too. If Barack Obama was as dark as Akon, do you think he would become president?
No way. He wouldn't be mayor of Chicago.
Yeah. So there's definitely colorism, and you see that all over. So that's a real issue. I don't want to be insensitive to it, but I just feel like as Black people, we don't have enough resources to fight amongst each other. The only hope is to actually come together. So all of that, even in South Africa, when they did like the colors and the black, that's to divide people, to make you feel like if you're lighter, you better than somebody else. But that's the colonizer using that because they know that they outnumbered. So if they could divide and conquer, if everybody was on the same path, then they wouldn't have a chance. So that's my rant when it comes to colorism in the Black community.
If Kendrick put up a picture of Drake at that Crip convention they had in LA with 2 Indian grandparents, it would have been over with.
But everybody,
so when knows Drake's background. What if they didn't know?
Oh, if it was like first time ever?
I ain't never seen no picture of Drake grandparents. Shout to the boy. Shout OVO.
You know his mom.
Yeah. So I just find it interesting. When is appropriation cool and when is it not? I like Tyla. I think she's a dope artist, but there's a reason why her team had her avoid that race question. And usually y'all been doing media longer than I, but when the PR person says, hey, I don't want you to touch this, there's a reason why. Usually because it can affect the money. So, but what do y'all put it in comments? What do y'all think? I still think she's a dope artist, but when you hide these kind of things, I'm like, why? Yeah, I mean, and you be sexy red at the BET Awards, and you not Black. Well, not all the way. But.
For full correction, because I know there are some purists in the comments. Tyla is not an Afrobeats artist. She's in Mbabe, I believe that's the it's a different genre of music in South Africa. But nonetheless, it's still an African genre, a very popular African genre of music. And that's a good point. As far as like, one of the biggest stars in that genre is not actually, I guess, considered to be Black. That's interesting. But then one of the biggest, if not the biggest rapper of all time is not Black. Eminem. Right?
True.
He's white. So that's it's like the rapper that sold the most records, who arguably some people argue that he's the greatest rapper of all time.
Yeah, and y'all start with your Eminem hate too. Oh my God, talk to Royce. Now people in Detroit don't even want to say Em and Royce are great. What?
I seen Skrilla Baby say that nobody listens to Eminem, but I understand. I understand where he's coming from though. But okay.
I get not listening to it. Ty been big on this since we was at college. Yeah, nobody want to hear blam blam wham. I get it, but we're not gonna play like a few of y'all favorite rappers did not run away from that boy when it was collab time, and from 99 to 04.
You know where the colorism thing is big too? Jamaica. And shout out to Jamaica, because we got a lot of great connects out there. So I don't want to offend anybody, but I mean, we just got to be honest. It's Blackout. A lot of there's a problem in Jamaica with people bleaching their skin. When you look at some of the biggest dance hall artists ever, like the ones that went diamond, right? Sean Paul, I believe he's mixed, right? Light skin. Yep. Shaggy, I believe he's mixed, light skin, versus a Beanie Man or a Buju Banton. Like they never got that level of celebrity fame. They never sold that many records. Is it because they're dark skinned and those other gentlemen are light skinned?
Yeah,
probably. Even the great legend himself, the greatest of all time, Bob Marley, he's half Black. He's actually like the Drake situation. His dad is Jewish. He never met his dad though, but his dad's white, Jewish, and his mom was black, right? Does Bob Marley reach the level of international stardom if he was a dark-skinned Black Jamaican? Probably not. Probably not.
No.
So,
no.
You know, it's one of those things, man. But it's a very unfortunate situation because it's like, you know, it's just sad if you really think about it, that like the color of your skin can determine how far you go, right? Or if you're accepted or if you're not accepted. And based off of that, that makes people feel so insecure that they would actually go to the levels of bleaching their own skin to become lighter so that they can feel more confident and to be more accepted. That's actually it's a very, very, very sad situation. But hopefully one day people will overcome that level of you know, self-hate for sure. Okay switching topics. This is a crazy ass story. If we could play this Instagram video, please, I'll cue it up. But first I just want to tell a story. So the baby, all right, let's just play the video. We'll play the video first.
So did you hear about the husband who served his wife divorce papers because he had a blood test done on his 5-year-old daughter? Come to find out the daughter wasn't his. He's upset. He serves her papers. So the mother, who also is complex about this whole situation because she knows that baby is his. She knows there's a problem. So she goes and get a DNA test. Lord and behold, she's not the mother. So now this boils down to what happened in the hospital. What happened in the hospital? The baby was switched. Now, we don't know if it was done intentionally or if it was done by mistake. But this is 5 years. So now the husband and wife have to go through court. They have to, and unfortunately, they find their child. The baby was in foster care. So they have gone 5 years without their child and find out that their child was in foster care. And now you got to also remember, now you got a whole year old you have a 5-year-old that you've been raising. So now that child needs to be placed with their parents. The whole ordeal is, I can't imagine it. I cannot imagine it. You guys have got, these hospitals have got to take accountability. You have got to be better. Hey, mothers, take a little fingernail polish and mark your baby's toe whenever they leave that room.
Okay. Crazy story, extremely unfortunate, where the parents thought that each one was pretty much cheating on the other one because they took a DNA test. Well, the mom, obviously. The father thought that the mom was cheating because he took the DNA test. Once the mom took the DNA test, now they realized that the baby got switched at birth. Being switched at birth actually happens. Like, this happens. I actually know somebody. The crazy thing is I actually know somebody that this happened to in Colombia. I think they was from Colombia. And they got taken from the hospital. I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know the whole backstory, but they got taken from America. They got taken from Colombia, sent to America, raised by parents in America. And they found their parents in Colombia like years later when they became an adult. But they never knew their parents in Colombia, and they was like pretty much abducted as a kid. So man, this is a scary story, right? Because imagine the trauma that this causes on everybody involved, where you raise a kid for 5 years, you have emotional attachment. That's your kid at that point in time.
Absolutely.
But you find out that they're not yours. Oh, that's bad. But in most cases, it's like, all right, even if I find out he's not mine, I'm still going to keep him. Nothing's really going to change. But the biological parents find out that so they're going to want their kid back. Right. Yeah. So it's like, damn. So it's like, now you got to give the kid back after raising them for 5 years. That's tough on the parents and the kid. That's tragic. Then you find out that your kid was in a foster care system for 5 years. So now you got to try to embrace a 5-year-old that has probably trauma from going through foster care system.
Absolutely.
And doesn't know you at all. You got to establish a relationship with a 5-year-old. you know, definitely prayers to everybody that's involved in the situation. Both kids, both sets of parents. And you know, how does this even happen? But what's your thoughts on that situation?
I mean, prayers for everybody involved. The part that sucks is, like you said, now the kid that they've had in their house, if they give him up, will he end up in foster care? What about the parents who also lost him? Ruined the relationship between the mom and the dad. One day we're going to talk about like a lot of medical mysteries and things that happen. Like even for us to be in a first world country, to have this happen, and then to have the amount of Black deaths amongst babies and the mothers in hospitals. Is that done by design or by accident? Like some people feel safer delivering at home and water birthing opposed to going into a medical institution because of what is happening to us. So like, I wouldn't know what to do. When I saw it, it was absolutely heartbreaking. I thought it was a typical, you know, someone cheated and now is the baby is someone else's. But when you both take the DNA test, now you have to go see what happened, or was a person in the hospital paid, or did somebody on the floor grab the child? At some point, we're going to have to talk about child abduction and how big of a business that is and the steps you need to take to be able to protect your kid. But this is a heartbreaking situation, like all around. And the crazy part is no one's going to be found liable in the hospital.
Yeah.
You're trying to, whatever hospital was probably has one of the best legal defense teams, or that nurse will be moved somewhere else that made the mistake, or she'll be fired, and everyone else, all the administrators get to wash and wipe their hands clean. So it's heartbreaking.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's one of these things, man. I don't wish that on anybody, but that the hospital has to be liable. Even if it's a mistake, some mistakes can't happen. You can't lose a kid.
Yeah.
That just can't happen. Right? You can't lose a kid. You can't mistake one kid for another kid. You got millions of dollars. And that still doesn't change. That still doesn't make it better. But
Yep.
I mean, that's the only thing that you really have recourse to is some monetary compensation. This is at least a $50 million lawsuit, at least.
But if I fire all the administrators and then I fire the nursing staff who works there, and if you file the case too late, we can say, hey, new staff, new team, new management. This happens a lot in corporate. And it happened in another organization that were unfairly treating kids of a certain age. I'll leave it there because I don't want YouTube to go crazy. And something happened in one diocese, they'll get moved to another one across the country. What?
Yeah. Okay.
See, y'all thought this was gonna be all $500 date jokes and all. Nah, we reeled you in with the little relationship. We're gonna get to some real conversations. Like hypothetically, if one person went to heaven, I'm gonna keep it clean, Rashad. I'm in a good mood too. And an island all of a sudden that occupied people no longer exists. What's the new island? Def Jam.
You said Def Jam? Island, like Island Def Jam? Island Def Jam, the music.
Trying to make sure YouTube don't get the... I learned some tricks. Flip taught me some tricks. Hey, you got to say this, but then put that behind. Hypothetically.
Island Def Jam.
Shout out to my Def Jam family. Yeah. The real Def Jam, Russell Simmons, and not the other one. But if one island would have went, Island Boy, they told you right in front of their face, Island Boy.
Facts. You ain't even know it. You ain't even know it.
Hey, y'all want to talk? Hey, okay. Let me bring this up. If Chris Brown is a monster for what happened to Rihanna, when are we going to talk about what Brad Pitt did to Angelina Jolie and them kids on that plane? Is it just our artists entertainers or what?
Allegedly.
But if the kids want to change the name and then you not definitely going to be in a new Tomb Raider. It's over with, my boy. And the kids won't speak to you and she won't speak to you. And I've been through a few breakups. They be mad for a little bit post breakup, right? But for years, I ain't never did nothing to make Xander so mad that he want to change his last name. He mad that Power out. He can't play Fortnite. But Are all monsters created equal in a Hollywood space, or just the ones that are in our culture that they want to defame and then try and take their masters? We got to have another conversation about why they want to take all our hip hop moguls away. I want to count up all the little labels we had, and there's 7 people who are still well-to-do after 40 years of hip hop. Why? MC Search richer than most rappers that came out in the 90s. I think Search is cool. He's not of our culture per se. Because Jay-Z sampled it, because Nas was using it wrong and he made it a hot line, but made it a hot song. Okay, cool. We got to have a conversation. Like, some of this shit is done by design, but allegedly, if something happened on that plane, why is that not being talked about? Because I know when Chris Brown had his issue, that shit was on ABC, CNN, Telemundo, Al Jazeera. It was everywhere. I ain't heard a peep about Bradley. Allegedly.
All right.
Allegedly.
Okay. One more video. Let's show this video, please. Please show this video.
A lot of times we don't talk about how women date their sons, and single mothers oftentimes do everything but their sons. And that's the reason why I say, a single mother is a boy factory. But single women become so emotionally dependent upon their children, specifically their sons, that they will convince themselves that they don't need a man. Because this boy is not your son, he is your man. When you want to cuddle, you go lay down with them. When you want some emotional time, you go watch movies with them. You touch them and you rub them and you massage them. And you do these things, everything that you would do to a man to suffice that. A lot of women even dress their sons like the man that broke their heart.
The son-husband complex, and he's that de facto hubby or emotional tampon, for lack of a better term. Some single moms do use their sons as son husbands in terms of like toys. Like when they want to watch a movie, they're hugged up with the son, want to love bomb or basically just get some type of affection.
Emotional labor.
Yeah, and even going as far as dressing the son up like their man. When he gets into a relationship later on in life, she wants to be the other wife.
Okay, so this woman goes viral for saying that single moms are raising a fuckboy factory. The fuckboy factory, legendary. Legendary. But you know what? She makes some valid points, and I want to be very sensitive of the topic because there's a lot of single mothers that are doing a tremendous job and have been left in dire situations by deadbeat dads. And they're doing the best that they can. Some people have worse situations than others, right? Some people have no support. Some people have some support. Some people have a lot of support. It's a lot of different situations. But, okay, just speaking in general terms, because you can't speak individually to 50 million people, but it's some valid points that she makes. Because, I told this story before about a kid when I was young that was on my basketball team that was always emotionally unstable and arguing and doing all kinds of stuff, right? And then we found out that he didn't have a dad. And even this year, so, my son is on teams with kids and I've watched, and, some of the kids are dysfunctional and they argue with the coach, they cursing, they trying to fight everybody on the team. And then you look in the stands and the common denominator is that their father is never there, right? Mm-hmm. So what usually ends up happening is that you usually pick up traits of people that you're around inherently. This is why you see people start to walk like you ever see somebody and they walk like their dad or they stand a certain way.
Yeah, yep.
That's not just DNA. They're learning that, and that's it, without actually even trying, you start to mimic people that you're around. So if you're in a household with all women, right, you're going to pick up a lot of female traits. That's just a fact. That's undeniable, especially if you don't have other male figures like an uncle or older brother or something. If it's just isolation and you in the house with your mom, your aunt, whatever, you're going to tend to be more emotional. You're going to, and then also the discipline is going to be different. There's going to be some women that discipline their children hard, but for the vast majority, the discipline from a mom is not going to be the same discipline from a dad or a man in general. So you start to get away with things, right? You can talk back to your mom and it might be some issues, but it's not going to be the same if you talk back to your dad. You can leave your clothes on the floor. Your mom's going to scream at you and nag you, but it's not going to be the same. You're not going to have the same discipline, the same level of fear
Yeah,
if
it's different.
unless if it's a man 9 times out of 10. So when you start to see kids like, you know, complaining for everything and sulking their teeth and, you know, just can't control their emotions. It's because
Rolling their eyes.
they have
Yep.
frustration because their dad's not around, right? So part of that is built up anger, but then also part of that is learned behavior. Now, the part that's interesting I never really thought about was when she said that you start to treat your son like your man.
Yeah, man. Yep.
That's actually a valid point because I've actually seen that. Like I've seen that happen before, right? Where it's like you see little kids and they look like grown men, right? And it's like, who's dressing them? And they become like mannequin, like their clothes, everything. And it's like, okay, are you dressing the kid because you want them to be a model, or are you dressing this kid because this is how you want a man to look, right? And this is like your mannequin to actually just play dress up with. And like you said, like watching movies and cuddling and all of these things, I'm just like, damn, that's deep. That's pretty deep because it's like it's a two-way cycle. It's dysfunctional for a woman to do that, but it's also dysfunctional for a child to receive that because now he becomes so coddled and so feminine in his energy as far as what's receiving to him that now I can understand when it like women's like, yo, these dudes don't want to be men no more. Like, oh, it hit me.
Hella mama's boys, yeah.
It hit me. Like now I'm saying it kind of hit me because I'm like, oh damn, I get it now, right? Like I could understand how that could actually make sense if he was raised by a woman for 30 years and they were overly affectionate and overly and that's all you knew. And it's like that's gonna play a part in how you interact with men and women moving forward, right? And it might not be the most productive way that you're going to know how to interact because you've only been coddled to. Like you never really had to deal with any stern no's and stand up and discipline and stuff like that. So sensitive topic, but what's your thoughts on this?
It goes back to the welfare conversation of when the men couldn't be inside of the house. Who designed it this way? It wasn't our community that initially designed it like that. Like anytime anything happens and it has a cause and effect, I want to go to the person that created that system. What governments or media companies or what propaganda is being pushed that makes our kids or the mother of the children act like that? Even if you look at like the red pill community who was like trying to empower men for whatever reason, because it was avoiding the market, right? Some of them are now being labeled as a terrorist organization. Why? Out of all the threats that's on YouTube, they're a terrorist organization. Like I think anytime that we start to build, like even, and we'll go to this later, for the longest time in our community, if you got to $100,000, you were achieving something. And as soon as in mass we got to 100,000, oh, let's raise inflation like crazy. Let's make everything a luxury good. So now your 100,000 now feels like 35,000. Why? And I think the number one thing that wants to be done over the next 40 or 50 years to make sure that we don't have a lead is to break up our families. So yes, is it wrong if a woman dresses her son like the man who left her? Yes, but I want to go to the root cause of why is this happening.
Okay. But all right. So even if it's systematically done, the government, all of that stuff, okay, we get that. But how do we deal with that issue though? How do we deal with the issue other than not having single mother? That's the obvious way, but that's extremely difficult within itself, right? So what is it more mentorship for young men that don't have fathers? Is it how can
we fix it?
How can we help? So we can't fix the problem. How can we work on the problem?
Mentorship, one avenue. We got to get back to being a community and a family, and not everyone just focus on themselves individually. It's tough though. Like I think we are very deep into the 8th, 9th inning of our communities and families being destroyed. So it's a hard thing to fix. And also the other side of it is sometimes women don't even want you to state your opinion on what they're doing. So it makes it tougher. It makes it a lot tougher.
Well, here's one thing I want to do in real time. If you are an Atlanta-based organization that works with young men, I want to offer, let's say, 20 scholarships to InvestVest for young men. So we'll say like 23 because we'll have like the adults, whoever the chaperones are. So if you work for any organization, if you're a football coach, if you're a AAU basketball coach, whatever, and we'll do it like first come, first serve. DM me your organization, information about your organization. We'll pick one organization and we'll give the young men tickets for the weekend. And then we'll also meet with them. 1 week is not going to change your life, but it can give you some inspiration, motivation. Not just, I think, being in an environment with a lot of successful men, a lot of strong, people that are accomplished, that can help, maybe rewire some way of thinking that some men that have challenges may need. Because I think that's important for people to see role models. Right?
That's true.
It really comes down to that, because it's like your role models are the people that you look up to and you aspire to, right? So it's like with having a lack of role models leaves you to only rely on what you know, and what you know might not be. And like I said, the mom could be doing a great job, but no mom can be a mom and a dad. That's impossible. Yeah, that's impossible. So let's do that. But then bigger than that, maybe let's think of some way how we can potentially have a mentorship program, maybe check in on a once a month basis and quarterly calls, to help
everybody put in the chat. Well, what are some ideas you think that we can do to help fix this problem?
Yeah. Because it's important. It's important. Okay.
Yeah.
Switching gears. Biggest red flag tattoos on a woman. How many tattoos on a woman is a red flag?
Your body, your choice. Oh, y'all gonna zoom in on me? Come on, I have no power. What are some red flag tattoos? If they got the whole arm sleeve, numero uno. These are just jokes written by 85 South. DC not here, but this is joke he wrote. Back in the day, the little tiger paw, Eve, you know what I mean, vibe. The dream catcher right here. Muy toxico. Muy. And if she got the little dream catcher over her bed when you go over there too, boy, and with the waist beads, shoddy, the waist beads with the dream catcher in the room.
What's a dream catcher? What is a dream catcher?
I don't know. That's when I be trying to take your soul with the Santeria man putting the chicken in the back.
Santeria.
And any girl who got neck tattoos, you too gangster for me. Like I don't need you to like, you know what I mean, be New Jalisco for me. I'm cool. You can shoot the gun with me, but to like go lead the charge, no. It's too much. Too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to be careful about this because I don't want to.
You are so good, bro. Teach me your ways, bro. I walk right into the shrapnel and the bullshit. I'm like, who are you to judge?
I could think of a few, but I don't want to be.
Text me and I'll say it.
Okay. The neck tattoo is that's an easy one though, because that's
too much.
That's a little. You might be a gang member if you have a neck tattoo.
And I ain't mad at you being gang. You just can't be my primary baby. You have to be like sixth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
I'm cool on that. I'm cool on that. Might be a little.
Oh, the under the ass, the hamstring tattoo. Red flag.
This guy.
Big red flag. Y'all come for me. At the master, these are not views reflective of Earn Your Leisure, Troy, Rashad, and Mike. Okay? Please. It's not AB, it's just Ian. And my jokes are written by 85 South and Andrew Schultz.
That's a fact.
Said he called Alex Jones for us too.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
How'd it go?
He open to it. Like, a lot of data. I love you guys. And you're crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, the big ass to hip. It's a vibe to see. All it's a vibe to see. But the be primary.
The primary. How many tattoos is too many?
Like when you get to 12, 13, 20, That's too much.
That's a lot. That's a
That's
lot.
a lot. Like what kind of trauma you done been through? You need all that. Too much for me.
I will say this. I don't think it's a good idea to tattoo anybody's name on your body, men or women. If I gotta show you that I love you by tattooing your name on me,
yeah,
we've crossed lines of toxicity, dangerous, and weirdness that
you've had somebody ask you before. I mean to cut you off, but journalistic integrity. You had somebody ask you before?
Never.
Put my name on your neck.
The neck is crazy. Name on the neck is crazy. You might as well put it on your forehead. But never in life have I ever. And no disrespect to anybody that has a tattoo on their body with somebody's name on it. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up covering it up.
Yeah.
You're going to end up covering it up. So why even go through it, right? You put the name on your body, and then 6 months later, you got to turn it into a rose or turn it into like a fire-breathing dragon.
Oh, Troy. Well, never mind. The lower back tattoo. That's a universal.
That was in the 90s. That was the 90s.
They still doing it, but they doing like the little small one. It's like a smiley face. Nah, you tell me what the target practice is? Nah. Too much. Not if you're gonna be the queen. Now, you can be one of the babies, but no.
Not the primary. Not the lead horse in the race.
No.
Okay.
You can be the backup stallion. But yeah, I agree. Or they try and laser it off. Oh my God, my ribs hurt so bad today. Well, you should have left my name on there.
You should have left my name on there.
Should have left it on. I ain't tell you to go do it. I ain't pay for it. Oh my God, it's so sore. You know they like burn your skin off when you know? Yeah, burn your skin when putting it on. Leave it on.
Tattoo my name
if we dated prior to 8 years ago, don't claim me. I know some of y'all be like, oh, yeah, my ex. You don't know me. If you ain't know me prior to having, if you ain't dated me since I had Xander,
different person.
Respectfully.
If it's real, tattoo my name.
Big facts, big too. I mean, motherfucking thug life. Go ahead.
Thug life.
That little rich shit y'all be doing and cover it up with the little Rolex.
Shoddy.
Nope.
Push Shoddy across your belly. Shoddy across the belly.
Big facts. Hey, gang requirement. I don't have no tattoos. I'd be the best one to start with. Go ahead.
Let's start. Let's start.
Mrs. Master Investor. You know what I mean?
Let's start. Let me ask you a question. As far as what is simping? Because like being a simp, like this is something that's become part of urban vernacular, right? But I think it gets misused a lot of times. Can we really put a full definition on the word simp?
I think it's a combination of being a sucker, a trick, and not having a boss.
A sucker and a trip.
Yeah, like if you won't stand and let your woman push you around, or let your woman put you on the couch and all that, that's simping. Like being Derek Jackson and saying things to sell product, that's simping. Lying into a conversation to get sex or affection, simping. Like going on a date that you don't want to go on because she want to go. Now, you know, I saw the interview with Anya. We should go to Cop Out. And you don't even eat no carbs. Why are you going carb on?
No. That's going a little too far. If your girl recommends,
if you don't want to go,
yeah, you do stuff sometimes that you don't want to do. You're open to it. You might not like if she say, okay, let's go ice skating. I might not be that's not the first thing on my agenda, but you know, if it's something
why your voice getting high?
Huh?
Why your voice go up? Go ahead.
If it's something that you want to do and it's a vibe, but I okay. My definition.
What do you think simping is?
I think simping is when you compromise any moral compass to get a woman.
Yep.
So,
or to keep her.
If I just meet a girl and my first thing is, what's your Cash App? That's being a simp, right? Because
or lead them with that. Let me get you a bag.
Same thing. If I'm leading with, or if I'm commenting on, yo, I know your man, he was down street, dirty macking. That's being a simp. If I'm if I'm if I'm doing like what I'm seeing a lot now on the internet is people making commentary that they know is going to be controversial to stir the pot to get women on their side, right? And you're leading with a woman's sympathy play instead of being just an honest voice. Like Darius Jackson was a perfect example of that, right? That's being a simp. Like, you know, like, bro, come on. You know that you're pandering, right?
To try and get some
at the highest level possible to rally up support, to go viral. And it's like, yo, if your man doesn't have 37 roses for you, then he's not the one, ladies. Leave him.
Yeah.
Relax, bro. You're doing too much. You're doing too much.
Yeah,
you're doing too much. You muddying the waters. And like, stop it. Stop.
And for the men who do that sneak diss and the hating, you have to realize, like, if you talk bad about something, it's only going to make your woman more interested in that person more.
Always has. And that's the thing. Like, people don't understand it's free promotion. If you constantly say, like, yo, this dude is that's only going to make the person more curious about the dude.
Absolutely. Yep. Shouldn't be affected. Some of y'all that sent y'all babies right to me. You not like what they say. I know, baby.
They not like
yeah, for real.
Okay,
cool.
You gotta see for yourself. But yeah, all of this advice on like, yo, this is a good man, this is a bad. I ain't jacking none of it. I'm not.
Oh, it's that one Puerto Rican cat I be seeing on IG. He pissed me off so bad.
Yeah.
My God, my brother. Let me help you get rich so you don't gotta do that.
I'm not jacking none of it, bro. Live your life, bro. My thing is like, you live your life. Stop trying to get dudes jammed up.
Yeah. Oh, that was extra hate. He told some truth in one of them segments, though.
No, it's always 30% truth. It's always 30% truth, 40% nonsense. Then the rest is just kind of mystery nonsense. But it's just like it's the same as going to the precinct and saying, yo, this dude's about to do this robbery. Like, you are cooperating. You're cooperating to bring somebody down. And I'll never respect that, because what does it have to do with you? Right? Like, how is this going to make your situation better? It's not.
Are simps winning in this era, though? Because there's a lot of gullible people who may like to hear that kind of commentary.
The ones who's winning is the ones that figured out how to get the bag. Unpopular truth. And this is the part that I had to cut off of Jim Jones because it got a little X-rated. But as far as his language, and I have children that watch me, so I can't post everything. But he pretty much was saying, yo, focus on the bag. It don't even.
As in, you have children that watch you, not that you have multiple children, because I know they're gonna clip that up.
I have one child, but I have.
There we go.
Children.
I got you. Screen. Yeah.
If you get the bag, you could be a terrible person. It won't matter. That's the unfortunate reality. And this goes back to even, I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, throw dirt on somebody that's already in the grave. But you look and you be like, how does person get
for 20 years?
Because he had the bag.
Yep.
We're gonna be honest. We're gonna be honest, either or not. They be like, yo, this dude had a bad reputation. He's been terrible. He's been doing this. How? Because he had the bag.
Yep.
Get your money.
Women determine how men act. I told somebody this the other day, like, you may not like the way certain people act or even how I maneuver, but if that's what's being rewarded, that's what people are gonna naturally gravitate to. All the good guys I know, they be on Pornhub. Going crazy. Self-love. Like, it is what it is. Like, but could y'all quit simping? Stand firm in your boundaries. And also too, like, when the women see that you ain't gonna play about your boundaries, they love you more. They you a little bit more affection, especially if you got some other shit going.
Be a don't be please don't just be a knockdown dude that's going to just be willing to walk away if you have to walk away.
Have to.
Bro, don't just take anything. Don't just be somebody that's getting screamed on and doing store runs and getting cursed out. and being publicly humiliated.
For real. We get 2 little arguments to you after that. Vamos.
Stand on your square.
Okay. Yep.
Don't stand for something, fall for anything.
Yeah.
All
Speaking
right.
of standing on something, what you think about Lil Durk's son shooting his stepdad, defending his mom?
What exactly happened with that story?
Lil Durk's son was out there, and his mom and his stepdad got into a confrontation, and something got grabbed and somebody got shot.
You know, that's a tough situation. I don't know the full details of the story, so I'll just keep it very light with my commentary. But I will say this: it's a delicate line when you are a stepdad, right? Because as a stepdad, you take the responsibility of something that's not even your responsibility. So you have to be applauded. All the stepdads out there, they get an extra salute to me because they're helping raising somebody else's child. And that's something that is difficult within itself, because a child is never going to look at you as their father 9 times out of 10, their real father, right? So you're going to have resentment, some disrespect. It takes a very strong person to have to go through that. Another thing is that there's issues that anybody has. So like, let's say a regular parent has an issue, right? They might have an argument. They might even curse at each other. Now, if a stepdad does that, it's looked at like, yo, why are you cursing at my mom? Whereas if your dad did that, then it'd just be like, yo, they just having an argument. Like, you know what I mean? As long as it doesn't cross the line. Now, the flip side to that coin is that there are a lot of abusive people in situations where they could take advantage of a situation where a woman has a child, knowing that they're more vulnerable, knowing that they'll put up with more stuff. So they could potentially use that as leverage to be abusive, right? And of course, if somebody is abusing your mother, I mean, anything is on the table. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, if you got to deal with those consequences that come from that. Like, I have no sympathy on anybody that's an abuser, but there's a thin line between being an abuser and having an argument, right? Like, if we're arguing at each other, that doesn't make me an abuser, right? But that argument can be seen as a triggering point for somebody on the outside. And now they step in and now they start arguing. And now it's a whole 3-way baby boy conversation, right? Where it's a very complex issue. So I don't know the situations with that situation, but I always say that it's a very delicate situation when you're dealing with somebody else's, you know, children. That's why it was like, for me, I never really been in that situation where I was directly involved with somebody that had children that I was like living, and I never been in that situation. But if I was, I would be delicate on how I talk to their mother in front of their child. If I was angry, I would reserve strong language, strong commentary. I wouldn't say that in front of the child because I know that it's already triggering that I'm even here. So I don't want to make a bad situation worse. So I would say that if you're in a situation like that, be mindful. Even if you think that, you know, you have a good enough relationship with that child, at the end of the day, you're not the biological father. So there's certain boundaries that if they get crossed, there might be some consequences for it.
Yeah. My biggest thing was don't argue in front of the kids. Like, if it got to that point, and like we said, we don't know the whole story, but for a kid, I think he's 10. I mean, he's younger than Xander. Yeah, he's 10. Or like Xander's like, what is that important to argue about that kid in front of to make him want to do that? Or the mom to even have to do that? Yeah. Come on, man.
I mean, it speaks for a few other things though. Why does a 10-year-old have access to a gun?
Protection.
No, but a 10-year-old shouldn't be protecting somebody.
Shouldn't have to, but shit may never happen. Like, we've been without power. You don't think I took Xander back to a crash course of how to use what's in the house?
No. But what I'm saying is that it's still some level of dysfunction.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right. Like, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, but I'm just saying it's just a sad situation. I got a son that's 13. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like 10 years old. If you're 10, you shouldn't even be thinking about shooting a gun.
Having to defend it, having to do any of that.
You should just be worrying about just going to school, enjoying your life,
playing ball, playing games,
playing video games. Your concern should not be protecting my mother with a gun.
Yeah,
that's one thing. That's unfortunate. Another thing is like you got to keep guns away from kids, because what if he would have killed them, or what if he would have shot himself? Or what if 10 years old, you really can't even hold a gun properly? What if he would have shot his mom by accident? Like anything could have happened. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like,
how you get your gun taken by a 10-year-old?
Yeah, I don't know how he got access.
It was on his
hip. He took the gun off of his hip.
That's Durk's kid.
No, that's not your average 10-year-old. That's not your average.
Yeah, and then also too, like if you're tussling out allegedly with his mom, like why are you doing that in front of him?
Yeah,
like, take me and Xander's mom out. Like, don't raise your voice around my kid.
No,
as soon as they done stitching you up and you come out of therapy, boy, like nothing's that serious. Nothing's that serious. Just chill. But that goes back to not having boundaries, not having respect, not walking away. Like, what are you doing? And it's sad because like every time we have these topics come up, I get 20 or 30 messages from women being like, thank you for talking about this, because it's not like there's an epidemic of domestic abuse going on.
If you get shot with your own gun by a 10-year-old, you shouldn't have a gun. From what I understand, like from what you're telling me, he took the gun off of his hip. I don't care in what situation. If you get disarmed by a 10-year-old and then shot with your own gun, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Yeah. And you should not, you yourself shouldn't have a gun. Right?
Yep. Allegedly, with prayers to everyone involved. And I'm gonna stay out of Chicago's business. I love y'all. But
don't play with guns, man.
No, none to play with. Nothing to play with.
Please.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. Move into some politics before we finish. Project 2025. Everybody keeps talking about this Project 2025 situation, right? If Donald Trump wins, Project 2025. So my understanding is that Project 2025 was like a think tank of conservative, some conservative voices. They put together like a think tank of some initiatives. And why I guess the Democrats are really afraid of this situation is that they're saying that it's a threat to democracy, as far as even what we just seen with the Supreme Court giving immunity to Trump, right? More things along that line, empowering politicians even more, stripping rights from citizens, different things of that nature, reproductive rights when it comes to abortion. We're seeing this play out right now, but even more aggressive federal mandates, strict the laws on abortion and reproductive rights, LGBTQ plus rights, under attack, environmental and climate policies, scaled back, not environmental friendly administration as far as the 2025 of Republicans. Education and cultural policies. So the focus on Judeo-Christian work ethic. And we actually just seen, I saw somebody, Amanda Seal, that posted something where a person, one of these congressmen had said that they wanted to go to a America. They wanted America to be a Christian-centered nation, something like that. And what she was saying, and what that really means is that they wanted to be a white supremacy nation. That's like code word for white supremacy. It's a whole thing. Yeah. But this country was built on a separation of church and state. And a lot of times Republicans try to reverse that and add the church aspect with the state. So you'll see prayers in school and a whole bunch of different things where that's an issue for liberals. Economic and social policies, tax cuts for the rich, cutbacks on social welfare programs. So a few, just a conservative agenda, that would be pushed on 2025, on Project 2025. So what's your understanding and what's your thoughts on the Project 25 situation?
It's their playbook for the first 180 days for how they want to take back control of their country. I think people on that side realize that they are losing their country, and they're going to do everything in their powers to fight back from education, family structure, social issues, even the Judeo-Christian push, right? If they took a country and church and state was separated, but the church helped take the land, why separate church and state? Now you need the church back involved to get back access to certain things, and I'm gonna leave that at that. So I know everyone's been bringing it up like this is like the biggest worry of ours over the last 40 years. Is it threatening? Yes. Is it serious? Yes. But this has always been their agenda. I don't know why people are acting like it's a death sentence. But there's been and I've said it here, as soon as we start investing at scale, then okay, what you can invest in changes, net worth changes. Like I sent you the thing the other day, 1 million in 1960 is $8 million now. So 100,000, which was like started to get popular in the 90s, is really like 35 or 36,000, which I'll ask later, is the middle class going to die? So it is incredibly alarming. I'm not being facetious about that. And for those of you just watching the clip, stop with the Republican talking point bullshit that y'all be saying, because I don't do any business with any Republicans. So I'm just calling a spade a spade. The Democrats didn't do a good enough job, and now things are swinging back. I think something should have happened after the January 6th attack, but here we are. When you have bad leadership, it allows for somebody else to come in and take the spot. Trump looks like a better leader, hypothetically, on paper, and the people that are backing him. But I think it's a lot of the same forces that we've been fighting for the last 20. I just told you, hip hop started 40 years ago, and there's 7 moguls that are doing well. Thousands of albums have come out in the industry that we dominate, and then they bring this Indian girl out and with a smash hit, and it's a bunch of artists who are better, but no one says anything. Vlad's here, Adam's here, and everybody like, yo, why you pick on Adam? Well, I thought he was a vulture.
Because he's a vulture. That's why. I mean,
then then we got the Drake situation. Like, I get it, but it's like, are we selective in the people that we don't want to colonize or no? And if y'all think the colonizing thoughts are bad, here, wait till y'all find out what people really feel about us in the hedge fund space. Come on. Like, come on, man. To have one of the biggest investing conferences of all time, for some people to not be there, it is alarming. Can't say that you don't know. They'll go to a conference and speak to 2,000 people, but 20,000 not enough. Oh, your core audience. Should at least Kathy came out and at least tried to shake hands with people after the ARC Innovation Fund didn't go well. Shout out to Kathy and the team. What y'all doing? Yada yada. But it's a lot more that should be on that stage.
That's a fact.
So, is it alarming? Yes. But this has been their agenda the entire time. That's the thing about racism. The faces and the players may change, but the rule book and playbook never does. Never does.
That's a fact. I will say this. Like you said, we've been criticized for pushing right wing agenda. Interesting, to say the least. But I will say this. Everybody knows I'm not the biggest Joe Biden fan in the world. But I do think that Donald Trump is dangerous. And this is why I think that he's dangerous. I think that he's dangerous from a standpoint of he doesn't even realize how dangerous he is. I don't really think Donald Trump is a true conservative. If you really know the history on Donald Trump, he was actually a Democrat before all. He's a Democrat before all of this. Lifelong Democrat. I think he's an opportunist. And I don't really want to go through it because I know a lot of people support Trump. So I'm not even going to like bash him because it's not even about bashing him. I'm just thinking that I'm just saying a statement that I think he's dangerous. The reason why I think he's dangerous is because I think he'll do anything to become president. And what he needs to do right now to become president is play the conservative card. So he's playing the conservative card. I don't truly think that he's an ultra conservative. I don't. But I just think that it makes sense for him to play that card so he can get in office.
Playing into that base. Yeah. Because if so, why he stormed that hill when he told everybody we're going to take the hill if Biden wins?
Yeah. But it's the people that surround him that really believe in it. And the other people that's empowering him that believe in it, right? So it's like even the Supreme Court situation, like it's really dangerous because it's like, they've they've gotten
That's the part that's
so
scary.
many judges on the Supreme Court, and they're lifelong appointments that they've tilted it forever for at least the next 50 years to be ultra conservative Supreme Court. So it's like it's a lot of things like that where he's in office now. So many different things, so many laws are getting changed, so many judges getting appointed, so it's like before you know it, he's shifted the whole playing field on a very conservative very white conservative. That's what it is. It's a white conservative. It's not even conservative because there's black conservative. They're not represented in this. It's a white conservative, mainly white male conservative push, right? And that's dangerous because that's only when has white conservatives ever led good in this world? When has white anything really ever led good in this world, right? As far as leading, but you're leading with a very small percentage of the population, and they're making decisions for everybody across the board. So when you see the Fairless Fund losing their lawsuit, and now they got to actually end up paying money because somebody sued them for discrimination when they was trying to give money to black women. That's dangerous.
That's tough, bro. That's just a precedent.
So it's like Trump, and that's a direct correlation of Donald Trump appointing these judges. I don't think he's even thinking through it like that. I don't think he's really thinking through when I'm appointing this judge, how is this going to play out? He don't care. He's just like, I'm in the office, so I gotta appoint a Supreme Court judge, and I'm a Republican, so I'm a have a conservative on the Supreme Court. But then there's the ripple effect that comes from that, and it's like, these things really have consequences. So yeah, this 2025 thing, I mean, it's definitely real as far as the push for conservatives, but that's always been there. They've always wanted to do this, to change the laws and to do different things and to advocate for a small group of the population to have and maintain control. Yeah, that would make sense. Who wants to give up power? That's why I always say, like, you can't ask for power, you got to take it. Nobody's going to relinquish power. If I have $1,000 in my pocket, I'm not going to give you $1,000. If you keep begging me, I might give you 10, I might give you 50. The most I'll probably give you is 100. If you really are causing me real pain and you're blocking my driveway, and I'm like, okay, here, just take the money. I'm never in life going to give you $1,000. We're going to have to physically fight, because if I give you 1,000, what am I going to be left with? So I don't care what you do. You're never going to get 1,000 out of me. We're going to have to physically fight, and you're going to have to literally take my wallet to get $1,000. You got to take power. So this goes back to the political situation, but hey, whoever you vote for is who you vote for. But just understand that there are consequences. Like, there's definitely on both sides, by the way.
Absolutely.
On both sides, there's consequences. So, it's just important to just be mindful of that situation where it's not just about who you think is going to give you a stimulus check.
Or who may raise a stock. People like, stocks are better. No, stocks are better when y'all was paying attention to market Mondays. What y'all talking about? AMC and GameStop and shit was going crazy. Like, there was no focus on semiconductors during that era. And even I'm from Indiana. Mike Pence is one of the most conservative politicians I've ever come across. He won't even speak to Trump to tell you how bad shit is. And I get, for the Democrats, Biden is a better choice than Trump. But we can't forget the super predator comments from 20 years ago either.
I don't think Biden
is a true Democrat.
Well, I think Biden is another one that'll do anything to get elected. Because you got to look at it like he's been in office for 60 years? And so he's held some form of office for at least 60 years, something like that. Mm-hmm. He's a career politician. He says anything. He'll say anything. He'll say anything. Mm-hmm. Like, he's said some crazy shit this year. He said some crazy shit. Like, if you really look at some of the things that he said, it's very disturbing. Yep. Some of the statements that he's made in regards to foreign policy and it's just like, the only reason why he said it is because he felt pressured to side with people that was giving him money and side with a support base that he felt was in that moment. But the one thing that I would say about Biden that is different from Trump is that he, at least in some sort, is surrounded by a coalition of more diverse people and more people that have some level of interest in Black people, right?
Yeah.
I noticed firsthand because I went down to Capitol Hill and I've seen Black people, a lot of Black. I have seen no Black people on the Republican side at all. I've seen Black people on the Democratic side that I've talked to, that I communicated with, that's in the circle. So I have no confidence in Biden at all, but I have more confidence in his inner circle than Trump's inner circle. I have no Trump's inner circle. That's some Illuminati shit. That's when you all right.
It's gonna be tough.
See if you get an invite. See if you're going to get invited or be around. Who's Black that's around that situation? Ben Carson, the dude from South Carolina, Tim Scott. Like, you ever seen a real Black person? It's either like a rapper, like a dumb rapper, or like a super sellout. You ever seen a regular Black person in that circle?
Charleston White gonna be there.
He's not even a regular Black person, but I'm just saying, have you ever seen a regular Black person in the circle? No, I haven't. That scares me. That really scares me. So, hey, what do I know? I'm just a talking point for the Republican Party.
That shit is crazy. I wish I would read more so y'all can quit saying that. Journalistic integrity. Troy said that Hillary said the super predator. Biden said predator on our streets in 1994. So staying corrected. Biden did not say super predator.
Biden did not say super predator, but he did enact the 94. Was it 94 or 96 crime bill? He did. He did some. Let's not pull Biden's history. He's done a lot. He's done a lot.
Speaking of which, do you think the middle class will be done away with in 20 years?
I think the middle class is done away with right now. If you really think about it, like what is middle class? Like, growing up, you always thought the middle class was somebody that had a job like a nurse or a teacher or firefighter, and they could buy a home, and they could go on a vacation or two every year, send their kids to college, work for 30 years, and then retire. None of those things that I just said are attainable to any of those professions right now, for the most part. Buying a home is becoming more and more unattainable by the year. Going on vacation, good luck. At this rate of plane tickets and travel and gas and all of that, sending your kids to college. We talk about the college inflation is twice the amount of regular inflation. Pretty soon, you're going to be looking at $100,000 a year for college, for private college,
which is insane.
So no middle class person can send their kid to college without taking out student loans. If you have to take a loan out, that means you can't pay for it. So that means college is unaffordable. If you really think about it, right? If you have to take a loan for anything in life, that means that you really can't. 9 times out of 10, you can't afford it. So if the majority of quote unquote middle class families have to rely on student loans, that means they can't afford college. And then retirement, that's vastly diminishing by the day. So, it's like Jim Jones had a thing where he said, 100,000 is like 10,000, $1 million, damn near like a new 100,000. And that's real. Like, it's the price of money is going down. That's why you got to invest. You got to invest your money. You got to save your money. You got to invest your money. You got to try to stay out of debt. You got to do all of these different things. But I don't see a middle class. I see a struggling class. I see 3 classes of people. I see a struggling class, which is probably 90% of the people. Those are just struggling. You could struggle anywhere from, not having no money at all to just barely making it. But you probably don't have more than 1 month saved. You're struggling. If you don't have more than 1 month saved, you're struggling. So you got a struggling class. You got a doing well class. The doing well class is the people that, you're making some money. You're making, high 6 figures. You're making 7 figures. You're doing well. As long as you don't do anything stupid, you're doing well. You're not worrying about where your next meal is coming from. you have over 6 months saved, up to a year saved in an emergency fund, you're doing well, right? And then you have the rich.
Yep.
You have the rich, and the rich. You're talking about networks of 25 and up. That's just chilling. That, you know, I never have to worry about money ever again. That, you know, making millions of dollars a year off their investments. That is insulated from everything, and they don't have to worry about anything. Those are the three classes of people: the doing well crowd, the rich, and struggling. There's no middle class in this situation. Yeah, if anything, the new middle class is the doing well. That's the new middle class, like, which most people would consider rich. Most people would consider the doing well crowd as rich, right? The average person would consider that crowd as rich, the doing well crowd. But that's really like the middle, because few bad things happen. You might be on the
your lucky turns fast. Yep.
Play your cards right. You might be on the rich side. You kind of you walking on either side of that street. But it's like Jim said, man, scary times out here.
So I gotta invest, go hard. Even going back to the top of the show, hey, why do Blackout? Diversity in media and also I love it because it was unexpected. You cannot create the same shows over and over again, same content, same career choices over and over and over again. Now, one thought George Clooney was going to come out with a tequila. What George Clooney know about? And it worked. What was their full name? Right? Yeah, $1 billion later. Cool. Him and Cricket Wireless, and you have to diversify. You have to diversify. What's up, my boy?
Just
oh, I appreciate you.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Well, as Xander comes in, another eventful Blackout.
But if you're doing well, she can't ask you for a cash app off top.
If I'm doing well,
yeah.
Here's the secret.
Oh,
here's the secret. No, I ain't even gonna get it. That's too much. That's too much gain. That's too much gain. That's too much.
Come on.
That's too much gain.
Come on, man. Give him one love. You know.
The thing, you know, you don't have to give money.
Talk to him, Shotty.
That's the crazy thing about it. Like, when you really got motion, the vibe, they're gonna want to be with you because you have motion. Yeah. You don't have to act. They're not gonna ask you for money. You think a girl's gonna walk up to Floyd Mayweather and ask him for money? They know that there's perks that's just by accident, they're gonna benefit in some way, somehow. Now, he probably just wants to do things because that's just his personality. But Floyd could be super stingy. Like, you know, I read Steve Jobs' book. He didn't even buy his girlfriend a dress. Super stingy. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying go that far, but you'd be surprised. You don't have to give money.
Yeah.
Because certain benefits is going to happen just by accident.
By proximity.
By
my dad would say. Stay around and get blessed.
By proximity. You're going to be able to travel. You're going to go to restaurants. You're going to go to different places. You're going to get things just by proximity. But then most people just want to be with somebody that has motion. They just want to be around. Men and women. Men and women. Like there's male.
The men are worse.
There's male groupies. They want to be around men. This is why rappers have entourages, right? Mm-hmm. They want to be around somebody that has motion. They don't even care if they're getting paid or not. They just want to walk into the club.
I want to kick it. Yep.
They just want to be able to walk in the club without having to wait online. That's it. That's it.
We're gonna talk about the male groupie epidemic too. They're way worse than the women.
All time high.
My God. Y'all thought NVIDIA went crazy. Last 5 years, the male groupie, oh my God. Y'all gotta stop, bro.
So I saying that to say, if you lead them with money, it's a misguided approach. You don't have to do it. You really don't. And especially if you have money. Most of the time, the people that lead with money don't really have money.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't have money, or they don't understand that the rule in life is motion. You. How would you define motion?
We defined simp earlier. Great point. How would you define motion?
How I define motion? I define motion in a few different ways, but I feel like if you got something going on and you don't got to be on Instagram, you don't got to be a celebrity, not like that. But if you got cash flow coming in, if you got energy, everybody knows the energy, right? Everybody knows the energy. It could be
no personality
in a neighborhood that he he's doing this. He got the summer league team. He got the, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, there's always that person that's like, oh, he's a part. He's throwing parties. He's doing, like, there's always that one person.
Man, something. Yeah.
That was
have
always,
something going on.
that was always that guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like I said, don't have to do nothing with social media or whatever, but it's like, they know, like, okay, nah, this is a wave. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got motion, you got energy, you got all of the energy right now that's moving.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate currency.
That's the currency.
Motion is the currency. Motion is the currency. Focus on your motion. Once you it's the law of inertia. A body in motion stays in motion.
Yes.
That is the law.
Y'all minute, man. Y'all gotta take some tongue at Ali or something.
That's the law of inertia. That's why you never stop. That's why you never stop. Once you stop, now a body at rest stays at rest.
Yep.
This is chemistry.
Stagnation.
Once you stop, you're in a dangerous space.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep going. It's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to work out. Consistency is the most important thing in this world. If you just keep going every single day and you keep doing, you have no choice but to catch motion. It's like riding. It's like riding a bike. It's like this. It's like a snowball effect. Like, you start off small, before you know it, it's an avalanche. You have to, but you got to do something every single day. That's why, like, when I was a financial advisor, every day I was doing something. I was going to a networking event. I was calling somebody. I was going to speak at a fraternity. I didn't care. I knew that if I had enough activity, good things would happen.
Yep.
You only get lucky by having activity. You don't get lucky by sleeping all day and doing nothing. That's not going to happen.
You got to be passionate about something. Even if, like, when you hear an Elon interview, you may not like some of his takes on world topics, but when he get into that engineering, robotics, Starlink bag, you see how he got them 12 kids. When we built PayPal, you can see that, like Al Gore, when he ran for president, if he would have led with the environmental stuff, he lit up talking about how to save the globe. And now we got hella infrastructure issues in Houston and the heat and worse hurricane this early in a long time. Right? Like, fellas, focus on a passion. Don't matter what it is. Don't let Mandy upset you about she hate gamers. If gaming your thing, game your ass off and be the best gamer.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
But if you don't focus on something, why would somebody want to be with you and adore you if you give them nothing to adore?
Facts. Facts.
Got you, bro.
Facts.
Got to. But y'all can do what y'all want. Y'all can do what y'all want. What do I know? But shout out to the babies.
Plural. Plural.
For real.
Power.
Shout out to my baby Ben. Happy birthday to you. Hope you have an amazing time. I appreciate you.
Whose birthday?
Ben.
Ben?
Yeah, it's my ex-son.
Okay. All right. It's been real.
No, you don't got to cut it off. I'm good. Boundaries. D-card. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. I would never date somebody who talks to. Yes, you would. I'll send your options.
I see your options.
And then baby daddies. Yes, you would.
See the options.
Yeah.
I seen the options.
Yeah.
I seen the options.
These are just jokes. I'm not this pompous or arrogant in real life. These are just performative antics.
These are just jokes.
Yeah.
That may be true. You never know.
Once in a while.
Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Blackout. Get your tickets to Invest Fest.
Yes.
Another glorious Wednesday in the books. Houston, Texas. Get your power. Get the power, man. Get the power to this.
Organized.
Please.
But can we even talk about that real quick? The importance of showing up even when things don't go right. I'm a calling on market. I'm figured out. I need to get a Starlink now. I'm like generator, fan.
That's
Starlink.
Starlink is a play. Nah.
Hey, Elon, I got some money coming for you, my boy.
Nah,
I don't care if you're Academy or not. Send my Starlink.
Salute to you for showing up, having no excuses. It's important, and that speaks to a level of dedication and consistency. Yeah. So that is definitely something that's commendable. I appreciate you being here on Monday, and today is
an honor.
Speaks a lot about your character for sure.
Can we have a conversation real quick about if you're not grateful for what you had, how quickly God can take it away?
For sure. You gotta be.
You can miss it. No. Because what if LeBron decide he want to talk some real ish next week? Him and Rich Paul and Melo. Oh, I'll be sweating bullets. What happened? Oh, they got another show. He did one podcast with JJ, and JJ got a job.
That's a fact. 4 episodes.
Can't
So
miss any days. Get better at it. I'm like, let me get better at broadcasting, the takes, the jokes. Cool. I asked Schultz, Andy's, how you write a joke? Like, how do you set up the premise? Yeah, I appreciate you asking. You do this, study this. I want to watch all Richard Pryor. Cool. Because I'll see some opportunities. And then when you make the announcement, in text, there's some questions we got to ask about that elevation.
that's a fact.
Tap in every day. I always said that all the best people on the world that are smart, they're working hard too. When people are like, just work smart. No, the smartest people on earth are working every day.
That's a fact. That's
Come
a
on.
fact.
You can't biohack your way to greatness, man. Put time in every day.
You'll hack your way to greatness.
Mm-mm.
All right. It's been real. We will see you on Monday. Get your tickets to Invest Fest. Love is love. Peace.